a company announced they were selling fantasy startup investing, NFTs, and they launched a beta for this and then shut it down 24 hours later. The startup is called Vision Rare, and it was co-founded by a former French VC associate, Jacob Clairhaut. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, and a Belgian developer, Boris Gorditz. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Both founders are seemingly young, and based on their LinkedIn profiles, and the company has raised no outside funding to date, according to TechCrunch. But according to the TechCrunch article yesterday, quote, mimicking the appeal of fantasy sports leagues and giving users a way to compete with friends by betting on startups they think will be successful. So the way it worked was users could bid on NFT shares of hundreds of different startups at auction and compete to build the best performing fake portfolio, just like in stock trading or fantasy, you can do this. The crazy thing about this, though, which I thought was interesting, was, and I made this observation, you as a non-accredited investor cannot buy shares in a private company here in the United States. The SEC has accreditation laws. Accreditation laws mean you have to make $200,000 or $300,000 a year or have $1 million in liquid net worth outside of the cost of your home in order to make the very scary, dangerous bet of betting on Uber when it was private, or Robinhood, or, today, Stripe, SpaceX. Like, you're too dumb is essentially what they're saying to you. You're too dumb to buy SpaceX, right? You see all the rockets go up. Your friend has, Starlink, and you played video games on it, and you're amazed at how awesome it was. And, you use Stripe for the last 7 years on your, e-commerce site, but you're too dumb because you don't have $300,000 a year in salary, or your parents didn't gift you $1 million in your trust fund. Therefore, you can't buy private company stock. That's what the accreditation laws here in the United States say. Other countries don't have these. And here in the United States, you can buy NFTs, which are securities. And in this case, they literally made them as shadow securities. So the great irony here is people are buying NFTs to gamble, to watch them appreciate in value. We all know nobody's buying these NFTs because of the inherent value of the JPEG, of the image, or the 3D model, because before NFTs existed, people weren't paying for them, right? Like, maybe people would buy a logo, but they weren't buying JPEGs, right? We would go on the internet, there'd be JPEGs everywhere. I mean, there were stock photos for commercial use. There were logos you could have designed. And so what this has really got me tilted a bit on is, the SEC is allowing NFTs to be sold and traded for fun and profit. And the profit is the majority of why people are doing this. Let's be totally candid here. If these things were all worth $1 or $3 and they didn't appreciate in value, if they appreciated 5 or 10% a year, would there be a mania going on here? Absolutely not. The mania is caused because I don't know what the floor price is for a drunken monkey or a crypto emo nerd, but it's hundreds of thousands of dollars. Like, it's ridiculous. It's the cost of an average home in the United States. It's, 4 times, 5 times, 10 times the average salary in the United States. This has become something wildly different in practice. Now, does that mean I think people shouldn't be allowed to buy NFTs? No, it's your money, right? Be aware that it's probably a rigged game. There's probably people painting the tape. There's probably people front running the market, as we saw. An employee at OpenSea was buying NFTs and then flipping them and making suckers out of OpenSea's customers, right? And insider trading, basically front running of the market. So if they caught one person, I'm not singling out OpenSea, you can be certain that there are collective groups manipulating the market. But you can't buy private companies? Really? Now, somebody pointed out, I'm talking about my book here. I just want more people to invest in startups. Well, I do want more people to invest in startups, but not because I profit from it. 99.999% of startups that are invested in, I'm not on the cap table. Surprise. This is something I think would be good for all Americans, and it's a freedom issue for me. And it's about people moving from one station in life. Maybe they're poor, they want to be middle class. Maybe they're middle class, they want to be upper middle class, they want to be rich. They're rich, they want to be elite. Well, the rich people can already do this, and the upper middle class can already do it. But so why can't the middle class or people who are just starting their careers do it? It makes no sense. It's silly. It should be like a driver's license. It should be like a gun license. If you can take a driver's license, or you can get a gun license and take a certification test, Seems to me that more dangerous to own a gun or drive a car down the highway than it is to own private company stock. I think we could all agree on that, right? Or maybe you would rank those three things in a certain order. I would put owning a gun. No, I'd put driving a car, owning a gun, and then probably owning stock, a distant third. So anyway, quote, the founders hope that the game-like nature of the platform will discourage those companies from sending out cease and desist letters because they didn't get permission from the startups listed in the marketplace, according to the article. And this is the key issue. There was another website that Balaji and some other people invested in that was using people's likenesses to create a market in crypto, and they would take the top Twitter handles and they automatically put them in the marketplace and let people start trading on them. BitCloud is the name of the company. This is called trading on somebody's likeness. You're stealing somebody who's a celebrity's likeness. BitCloud should have been sued by that. I just think nobody really took the time to do it. You can't trade on other people's likenesses and their images. That's illegal, especially when they're celebrities. So, listen, I'm not going to start a war over it, but, I was a high profile person. I would certainly send a cease and desist, take my image off there because you're confusing the public. So when I saw on BitCloud, Naval, Elon, whoever, high profile crypto people, I assumed that they had signed up. And in fact, there's no indication they didn't. It's totally not clear. You see their image, you see their likeness. So I think the BitCloud people are lying and deceiving people, and that's not right? And you're doing that on top of crypto, which has its own issues. Like, how dare you put somebody's image on your homepage and let people start trading in their stock or showing interest? It's gnarly. You got to make that super clear. You make a list. These are people who've signed up. And you could say, these are people we would like to sign up. So put that on a separate page or put it on a separate, list. When people do devious stuff like that, like BitClout was doing all this like smarmy, devious, lying kind of stuff, that tells you all you need to know about those individuals in my mind. If they would lie about that, what else are they lying about in their business? What other corners are they cutting? That's the way I look at the world. When I see people bending the truth or being like that, I wonder. Now for this one, if you said, I want to make a bet on companies and I want to make a fantasy group of this, maybe you didn't use their logos and you let people put in the name of the companies and you're not profiting from it, that would be different. So if it was a non-commercial project, that also is different. BitClout stands to make hundreds of millions, billions of dollars building their service. That's their goal. This company was selling the NFTs. So once you start actually doing commerce, that changes it. Fair use is a test. And so the fair use doctrine here would apply if you were not making money, perhaps, and not using their logo and not confusing the public. Those would all be part of the tests a judge would put this through if it actually went to court. Of course, it wouldn't go to court. Listen, right now, LinkedIn is going to give you $100 credit towards your first ad campaign. I want you to go to linkedin.com/thisweekinstartups and get that hundy right now. Now, why would you use LinkedIn marketing? High quality leads. We all need leads. We're all running businesses here. My leads, startup founders. Your leads might be SaaS enterprise. It might be CFOs. It might be CMOs. It might be CTOs. Who knows? Everybody's got a different product, but everybody is on LinkedIn. We all know that because we all use LinkedIn every single day. So if you're planning to launch a new campaign, you know your audience, your team is excited, and everything is going according to plan. We've all been there, except you have that one thought in the back of your head. How can I be sure that my acquisition campaign will drive high impact leads for my sales team? Well, with LinkedIn ads, you don't need to guess because when you advertise on LinkedIn, your message reaches people who are ready to engage you. LinkedIn equals business, business equals LinkedIn. You know this. It's very simple. So with 30 million companies engaging and over 71% of professionals using LinkedIn to inform their business decisions, LinkedIn can help bring your growth to the next level. Don't wait to start achieving your brand and lead gen goals. Get a $100 ad credit toward your first LinkedIn campaign at linkedin.com/thisweekinstartups. Once again, linkedin.com/thisweekinstartups for the hundy. No spaces, no dashes. And terms and conditions apply because they're giving you a hundy.